Good morning. I'm sitting here trying to I have a piece of hair, believe it or not, from it's all over me. I'm sitting there fighting with it. Good morning, good morning. That's why I hesitated. Good morning, guys. How are you? Well, looks like I'm off schedule today. Really off schedule. Um, I guess being I'm on like a heavy loop of diuretics, three different types. Now, every couple hours, I'm waking up like four times in the night. I looked and I was like, it's like, oh crap, today's Sunday. And I guess I didn't realize it was after midnight. So it's just been, I guess you lose track of days easy to begin with in retirement. And now that I'm up at all different hours, like peeing myself everywhere, yeah, things change. So, good morning, good morning. If we could get a sound check. So, I was like, what the heck? It'll cover tomorrow, or I might do a live tomorrow too. Haven't, but let's see. Bring up everything here. Hey, Sarah, I see Ted is in the house. Good morning. Good morning, Fallen Center. So, yeah, this is an off day. But, I've been thinking about other topics, and I think the biggest thing that I've been wanting to say here lately is if you're going to come to the Philippines, don't hesitate. Don't listen to the YouTubers or the social media people because a lot of them are being paid to influence, and some of them are getting paid well. And it's not a complaint from me. We did it for free for years, and like I said, right now we're making a couple $100, and most of that goes back into the channel, and then we use it for the cats. We've been rescuing cats outside. Some we keep for a long period of time. Some we just go ahead and rehome after 6 months when they grow up. They're not sick from being on the street. So it's what we've done. But I hear so many people out there that just they're and they're just, oh, you can't go and you didn't plan right and you didn't do this and do that. I'm sorry, life is really messed up right now, like no other time in history. You guys can try to go back as far as you want and say, well, it's back when I was this and that, it was bad and gas was expensive. I'm sorry, right now it's been really tough on a lot of people, and a lot of people are moving overseas. And the biggest thing that I thought when we were leaving, and you can't think of everything, is that, oh my God, what if the credit card stops? We haven't transferred the bank account. You think about these other things, or am I going to get scammed? Or, bad weather and typhoon. But as you guys have seen, mine is medical. And we did bring X amount of money, but we went through it really quick. And we don't know that. That's more planning than probably 80% of people. I've got a Filipino husband that knows this area, born and raised, went to school here. He's a Filipino citizen. We have a monthly income. We had started the YouTube channel. He had what I would consider a substantial amount of savings over other people. I think it was somewhere around 60,000. We were discussing this. And a lot of people don't even bring that. They don't bring a residual income. Some of them just bring 20,000. Some of them have where they'll come here and wait that last year out, which some might have to. But I still tell people that contact us, they should go for it. Everybody's individual in what they're going to do. They know their health. They know what's going on in their life. They know what they can live with. Now, you could set those limits and they'll probably change when you get here. Oh, I can deal with the heat. I can deal with eating this or doing that. But you just have to plan the best that you guys can. But I would still come. And the reality of what's been going on in the YouTube world and, with the expats here is that they are hot to trot on comparing how good their lives are, or that, oh, well, you're no good because you didn't plan, or I'm better than you situation, or This goes back a couple years where there was that guy that had that young looking wife and people picked on him forever. And it was like they made fun of the house he was in, that he didn't have much money, that he looked like a hillbilly. They talked about his teeth. It's like, wow, these are full grown adults. And I try to understand, what they're actually thinking when they do it. And then, oh, okay, it's just content for it. But then some go really hard. And it's all in all, there is an answer because lately we've had several channels that, or people responding to us. So one, they couldn't figure us out. So then they just make things up. Like here lately, the weird part is if they're lying that much about multi channels and other content, then you're believing that everything they're saying is true. Who knows? And they're comparing their life, their careers, how they were in the military, how we weren't, how we didn't serve our country, how we ran away from the country, their list of accomplishments, how much they have in the bank. And it's like, you can't compare. You can't compare, especially you can't for obvious reasons, the ones that know who they are. You can't. You're talking male and female right now, period. Whole different situation, and it's like, okay, nobody's like, hey, did you have any kids? I've had two humans. Have you? Can you like shoot a something out the size of a watermelon out your hole? Let's try that. It's just weird, the comparison. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well, where's the comparison thing? So the specific ones here lately that has been brought up on our channel are toxic, they're insecure, they're narcissistic, evidently butt hurt and hit a nerve, major crab mentality. It's one thing to do skits and pretend that you're us, or to go on and say, hey, I'm Philippine Antics and whatever. And it's funny. We thought they were funny. But it's another to say a bunch of lies and compare yourselves, or how, and just not us. This is other YouTubers recently talking about other YouTubers here in the Philippines, and they're just going on. Like one will say something, and then a little bit later, the others are going on. And it's like, we have never taken an entire live stream and put their faces up and sit there and talk for hours and say, okay, well, so and so did this on this date and said this. Oh, they're absolute lies. No, because we're not going to justify you talking about our careers and fully. But I do want you to know that you're just narcissistic and have a crab mentality, and that evidently you're projecting your insecurities and what's going on in your life. So all those deep trolls, heavy trolls, and people coming on that are screaming, "Hey, Heidi's fat," I guarantee they're overweight. There's no way that they're slim, trim, and hitting the gym every day. You should have had insurance. I doubt they've got insurance here. I'm almost positive they ain't got none here, or if they're even here at all. I had the balls and audacity to get off of our couch over there, as you would say, and come here and live a different life. I don't have accomplishments. Bull crap. You're even lying about crimes that didn't exist, like totally making them up. So I didn't have any, like volunteering for years for Habitat for Humanity, 10 plus years of donating blood. I didn't give birth to two children. I didn't ace cosmetology and massage and nails, which not everybody can do. You can make fun of cosmetologists all you want. But the top school in St. Petersburg, I was their top five student. So it's still an accomplishment. I worked at a television studio for 8 years and I did meet celebrities. Okay. It's not much of an accomplishment, but it was nice to talk to people like Suzanne Summers, Suzanne Lucci, people that I watched as a kid on television. Mr. T would come through the television studio. I helped people fix their computers on the phone. Didn't say I worked for IT. I learned computers on my own and didn't go to college for that. I was a neurological nurse that worked one on one with children and adults that were disabled and took care of them, fed them, taught them, read to them, put them to bed at night. Then I took care of my parents, both of them, for 10 plus years. So, no accomplishments. That I'm a bad person because you're trying to pinpoint something that happened 20 years ago and you don't even have the full story. So, you're a narcissistic, insecure, okay, mostly insecure attention seeker. And so are the other channels. At least I've had the nerve to say, hey, I'm attention seeking, or yes, we need money. I just seen that Matt guy here in Angel City talk about, I would never ask you for money. I would never ask for sticker money. Same asshole that'll be asking for money the first time something goes out, or he is probably monetized. I don't know. I didn't look at his numbers. But he came up in our feed because evidently somebody's watching. So then I'm like, I went and opened him up, and that's the first thing he said. And they all say that. Every one of them that's come through, I'm not going to date when I get here. I'm not going to monetize because I don't need it. Okay, but then you're what, narcissistic and just need to be seen, an attention seeker? Oh, Philippine Antics changes their mind all the time. They lie all the time. 1 minute they're this way. No, people have the right to change their mind or not go with things. Notice that I'm not saying as much about Filipinas. Why? Because the longer I live here, I have an understanding of the people. Might have bitched in the beginning, but that is my prerogative. Like, oh, she's a switch out. No, sir. No, sir. So it's just that the longer I see them struggle, and the more I see this, the more that I understand, or going through my own struggle. So it's a one day at a time thing. Make your decision to come here based on you, not what's going on with these guys here. It is so toxic here. I have been to Europe, I have been to Egypt, I have been to Canada and Mexico. I've been a lot of places. This is an accomplishment in itself. Okay? And just traveling and getting to see people, I've learned so much. But I know one thing, out of all of these areas, this is the worst. People have been fascinated with us way before they said that I was picking on channels. If you feel that I was picking on channels, then you're in the wrong place, because it's not. It's not. So, and that's just where it is. So, I wanted today's topic to be about just the realities. And yes, you can come here. Just be realistic that you could end up like me and not get back on a plane. I've had another probably half dozen people contact me and still tell me to get on a plane, that I'm lying. And I'm like, dudes, you don't know it. You think we're telling you every single thing that I'm going through? Like details? Would you like more details? Okay, because I'm on these medicines, okay, there's so many different things that are going on with my body. Okay. And again, I can hardly get around, but my legs are leaking really bad, which means the fluid overload, because my heart's about ready to shut down. Last night, I had an entire comforter that was folded into fours. Like, I kept folding it and it was soaked this morning. The entire thing just absorbed it like a cotton towel. Okay. It's coming out of the new wound and it's coming out of other areas because I'm in a fluid overload. Yes, I'm watching my salt. Yes, I'm watching my fluid. How do you suspect I get on an airplane and be told, well, don't take your oxygen, just walk up? When I walk through this house, I hold on to walls. You're even kidding right now. By the day, it gets worse. So how am I supposed to get on an airplane with legs leaking that require towels underneath it? It's not even not even doable. Let alone, as I said the last time, it's not even cool that you would think that I should just go through the pain anyways and ignore my doctor and risk almost an entire chance of having a blood clot and dying anyways. I'll wait here as I have. Lucky that I've lived since what we started around January. Then I'll take the last 5 months that I've had, and I'm happy. We are making a plan to go. Hopefully, it was supposed to be in the last few days. We're still trying to process Phil Health. And with that, we plan to go to one of the public hospitals and pay about half the amount. There is a good one that we plan to go to. We're not going to name the location for obvious reasons. People have been trying hard to get not only our address, which we know are trolls, and they've been trying hard to do what they did to Geo. Thank God Geo came on and said that he had somebody trying to steal his channel. And it does happen. We get people all the time trying to take the channel. We know they're fake. Oh, we want you to be this and that. Click on the link and use these codes. And they're not legit because we know that we didn't contact these people. So it's like they're always at it, guys, always at it. But no, I want you guys to, tell me, have you been dealing with that? Have you noticed, even if it's not YouTube, you'll just go to wherever, even if you meet another expat in the mall and you're talking with them, it's like they're highly trying to go on about what they own, how much they own, their woman's better, or they're trying to present themselves in a different way. Instead of being friendly or trying to help, some of them are snobby. Like when we first got here during the pandemic and no one even knew we had a channel, they weren't really talking to us. We got totally snobbed in the beginning. So it's some sort of toxic situation going on here, and don't let that stop you. They don't like how real I am and the fact that the stuff they're saying is not destroying my life, that we didn't boo-hoo and shut the channel down, or that we were just going to go silent. No, we're not going silent either, but we want the people to come. I still feel that paying lesson bills and not worrying about bills and having George work, God, it was ridiculous hours, that we were able to come here and he could spend time with his family and grandchild, and that we could live here. It was difficult. It still is. It's not that easy and not for the faint of heart. That's for sure. But there's a lot of good too. So interesting, Robert. No, someone did not, in fact, steal Geo's channel. He contacted YouTube and froze. Okay, so when did he say that, Robert? Geo come on and said that. So who said that? Was that another troll channel that said that? And then you guys are, as they've been saying about us and everybody, like there's just like sheep, like what do they call when you lead the sheep to the flock or whatever? I don't know how you even say that. But Geo, for a fact, just told his own story. I believe what came out of his mouth. So where did you hear this? Because Geo said no, someone did, in fact. Oh, sorry, Robert. I just reread it. Sorry. You said no, someone did, in fact, steal Geo's channel. He contacted you. Oh, sorry. I got to take that back and slow down. So I got like a one-track mind this morning, and I've been up urinating all night. Like every 2 hours, I'm up, which is keeping me up. So it's like I'm wound up. No, someone did steal his channel, and yes, he had to. It took him forever to do it. So sorry, Robert. Sorry, Robert. I was like, wow. No, in fact, he did, and I missed a few words. I'm not dyslexic, but I do quickly read through things because of ADHD, and sometimes I jump the gun there. So sorry, Charlie. I was like, yeah, he said it for him, but yeah. But no, someone tried to hike his channel for sure. Hey, good morning, Ted. What's going? If you're not first, you're last. Oh, Ricky Bobby. Got my old Ricky Bobby hat going on here. Mm. Dang, they even talk about my hair. Oh, she didn't need to shave her hair. That was just get more money. And I'm like, what money? What money? With us doing the channel, we should be making 1,000 a month anyways. People know what's going on that are legit, and it's like, but we don't. People think the channels, if you're even on there, that you're making that much a month, but it's not. So the most we've made up to now total after taxes is around 5 grand. It's, it's just wild. It's just wild. And so we do ask for help. What, I'm just supposed to sit here and not No, it took a lot of nerve, more manhood than these guys could even think about in one pinky. What it takes is these guys projecting their insecurities on me that's happening to them. Oh, she's a bad wife. Oh, she's fat. Oh, she had no career. No, you just talking about yourself. You've got some issues. Butt hurt, butt hurt. That'd be the next song we should put together. Good morning, Fallen Center. What is going on? Sarah is in the house. Hey, hey. Hey, Slick Rick is in there. Yeah, hey, Slick. I seen you in the room. I did not want to say anything to you in the room of the live stream the other day of Mike's. And what I will say is that soon as I said hi, and it's what I thought I would happen, is the what I call trollish people or people that are haters and doubters attacked right away. And when I responded back, okay, first I came in and said hello. Then I came into the room and I said, and I hope Mike is watching. And because George is like, well, maybe you should email him. I said, no, either he knew or he didn't. Either he blocked us or one of his people did, but it was rude. But what had happened is that he was talking about Arlen, like he was telling this whole story about John, and I was like, yeah, Arlen's been on the channel a lot. It's probably like George, he just doesn't want to do it a bunch anymore. And just she has been. And then the next thing you know, they're attacking by saying, e-beggar, she deletes videos, she's this, she's that. And I wasn't in there to fight, but I did say, proud e-beggar here. And no, we haven't deleted videos. They put us in timeout. And I was like, yeah, that's it for me. I'm not going to another live stream and I'm not going through that channel again. It was rude as hell. And it's like, he's come in and even said hello back and forth to people. But the fact that people were in there ripping us and I didn't really rip back, I joked and said, hey, proud e-beggar here. And we got held. And I was like, George's like, oh, yeah, no. So we're not allowed to respond to people in the live stream. And it'll be, it wasn't me, it was somebody else. How do we know? So he has made a statement before that Filipino, I mean, he had to make sure when we were on his live stream to mention that he was blocked. Well, these are the reasons he's blocked. He has allowed people to fully defamate us and left the comments, and people have done it to him. We've deleted. The shit gets held. We hold those people's names and we have deleted stuff, but there's no courtesy the other way around. And then exactly what happened to live stream, but we didn't get like hurt over that and like, okay, no more blah blah blah, but now we got held. No, that wasn't unintentional, either him or the person. So I thought it was weird, and that's it. We have nothing. That's it. Now you will wonder. Now it will, because that was just weird. That's like a man's prostate problem at night. Yeah. No, when the heart isn't pumping right and it's getting worse, the fluid will just keep on packing in on the walls or whatever. It's ridiculous. These are light scratches that it's coming out of, and it's coming out of the ulcer. So it went from a bite to not healing to just opening up, and that has fluid coming out of it. So it's been like that for months. How also would you guys like to take care of that? Or the medications that cause diarrhea. So I'm just supposed to like deal with this, like that happens several times a day. I'm just no matter what, because my life. So let me risk the blood clot. Let me risk, you know, leaking everywhere. No wheelchair, and I'm just going to walk up when I can barely walk 20 feet, and I'm supposed to get on there and survive at least a 30-hour flight. No, I'm sorry. All three doctors said no. My husband said no. I say no because I know I can't make it, and I will wait here to pass away. So that's just where I'm at. But hopefully, the insurance is supposed to cover most everything, and we just one day at a time. I'm going in to get well enough to get at least the angiogram for them to say, okay, you need 2, 3 stents or the open heart. I still feel that the original cardiologist had said you need a CABG. I'm the one that asked about the stents, and he said, yes, you can still get them, but that doesn't mean anything until we get in there. So it looks like with me getting sicker and now my leg is infected and a big hole, and it is getting bigger. So it's not going to stop till we restore blood flow. So that's what I'm going in the hospital. I could be in there a week, could be in there 2 weeks, could be they have to cut the whole chunk out of my leg. And I'm almost sure that's probably what they may attempt to do. I don't know, but it's still greenish yellow inside, even with the new medication and two different antibiotics. So, hey, what's going on, Harry? No, George is not a millionaire. That's funny. Hello, Puddin'. Hello, Teddy Bear. Hey, good morning, Ray. George is a paceonaire. That is funny. Have not had the coffee. I've got the one here. I've really got to restrict. And I was already on 1,500 mils, which is about 3 bottles. This is one, and then I use one through the afternoon and then one in the evening, and I'm still maintaining it. So it's a rough world. I'm an antic. I live in the Philippines, and his I am Philippine antics, technically speaking. That's right. I hate to say it. I kind of speak for the majority of the guys here. They're looking for good loving and friendly people. They're looking for easy times, not rude Americans or people that are just out of control in America or Canada or wherever. Things have, you know there's a lot of things going on in every country, and I was just working class, never claimed to be rich, never claimed to be where we had, millions in the bank, or that we had this and that, or trying to be fancy either. A lot of people have said, you remind me of my aunt, or you remind me of that one cousin, or yeah, I probably do. Everybody's got one person like me or two in the family. And I'm the quiet one, actually. I've got sisters that are just out there, like always on the move, trying to drag me to clubs, trying to drag me to events and concerts. And I'm like, yeah, we just went to one. I'm good, because I've always been a home person. I am, believe it or not, more of an introvert. I just sit there and cuddle on the couch and be with myself and the cats and watch movies and, work from home situation if I could. I like me. I ain't got no insurance here, but I'm covered in the US at least. Right. And most of you guys can get back. It really is a possibility. Now, people have been asking a lot about TRICARE lately, and I believe Medical Center Clark takes it. And there's a lot of facilities that do. So I don't know 100% about it, but it's really good to be able to use that. That's the one with the military. Then you have the VA. Understand they're not everywhere at this time, and still they're still where they put in a request. They've been fighting it for years to activate Medicare here. There's a lot of returning Filipinos that are here, that would like to use their Medicare through their Social Security, and the people living here. There's 40 or 50,000, give or take. I could be off on the numbers, that are living here that would like to use it, and that would just change things. I did initially have an insurance when I was here, but if you're living here long term and playing by the rules, you're supposed to let them know that you're living here and that you're just not vacationing here once you're in here for 1 or 2 years. Nothing happened during those years. I even had where this was lasered off. You guys remember when I had the band-aid on and stuff, and this is heavy duty. This could just eat my face up, and I have it on my arms and stuff. But here it got really bad. You could see where it is. And, you can pay for that stuff. We were a couple hundred here, doing blood work here, seeing the specialist. I started going to the specialist of my rheumatologist heavy starting in January, but I had seen him a few times a year. It wasn't like I was going every 3 months or something. And, you can afford that. I I don't think there would be a problem just going in and sitting in the hospital for a few days treating the leg and stuff. That's nothing, comparison to needing something as I never thought would happen. And that is possibly up to open heart surgery. And it does. It just really hits. And especially if you've been here a while. A lot of our money the first few years is a lot newer, but it's not easy to hold on to, fellas. It's not just like being in the US, a bunch of tires go out, your air conditioning goes out. That could wipe you out a lot in America now. Fixing a bunch of stuff on your car, something happening to your roof and your house, that's it. That money you had saved is gone. It's expensive. That is true, JL, and we discussed that. That's why we covered him. Plus, he stopped his medications. He said he was better. I'm better all the time. I'd love to stop the water pills. I'd love to stop medications that I have for lupus. I did attempt it. I quit all of it. And after about 4 or 5 days, I could not even get out of bed just based on the lupus. So that had persistently gotten worse. But I didn't need all of that just a few years ago. So the lupus, it could be if I was having heart issues, I feel that it was like working hand in hand on what was going on. But Mark quit his medicines. He went on some sort of, I don't know what they call it, TRT, hormones, and then he let his woman convince him, allegedly, to have the baby when he always said no baby. He kept telling him, I'm not having a baby with her. And then he did. So there's a whole new level of stress of a crying baby in the house. And can you make the money? And I guess from his own words, he was struggling. He took on the new car. So it was really a bad situation. And I don't suggest all of that, but instead, like me, you're always thinking about the other person, so I understand why he did it too. But quitting the medicine was bad business. It just was, especially when he had a quad bypass, just not like one section. He had the four. It wasn't. Yeah, I would agree on that. Mark Thornton was the best example of what not to do. Yeah, and it's like me, sure. If I, like, maybe if I'd have thought about last summer when I felt like I had a bad flu, and then around Christmas time I said I was tired, and by afternoon I was always tired, it still could have been the lupus. But if I would have thought about it back then and thought, no, now's the time to go, I probably wouldn't have anyways. To go on a maybe let me buy a ticket and go sit back home for a few months trying to get things taken care of just wasn't in my mind because I was tired. And then by January, boom, I was laid out. It was absolutely an issue. We went in because my legs were leaking and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't lay flat. And it just, boom. But there is no, the realities of being an expat here is there is no one answer. There really isn't. Everybody will be different. The same with the comparison. Stop comparing that your life's better, that you'll never get sick, that I'm fat and you're allegedly skinny and healthy and looking good. I can only say a few of these expats that are talking shit are okay. I wouldn't call you all that in a bag of chips of health, but there is none at all. It's like comparing apples to oranges, like for real in multiple ways. Freak Ray, I had six on porch and three kittens inside, right? Oh my God, it started raining last night and George went and threw a tarp over the chickens. A chicken, because I let the other one out and she's still sitting on the egg. And but the tarp that we bought is that weird crinkly stuff, and it took forever to get it unrolled. He was soaked like a rat when he came inside, but it worked for her. She's close enough, almost under the porch like thing, but she was soaked. But here comes the rainy season. Hagabot or something. I can't Hagabit. But all I know is this is really going to be a rotten year. Knock on wood is not too rotten, but last year it was really bad. This one, because of the weather, it's really going to be. They said they're expecting it to be crazy. Yep, Mark came here broke and left behind a huge mess. Yeah. Yes, some of them did. But look, I hate to, put it like this, but some come with no money either and they become successes. And I will still say Sunshine Shoulders is. It doesn't matter how he got his funds, how you guys said, good, bad. I, again, I don't go by the trolls or the things that are made up. I go by my own eyes. Even if something is found to be true and it's right in front of my eyes, I'm like, well, that's a pass. I mean, the man has admitted he had a drug problem and he has said things, and I'm like, doesn't matter. That doesn't make him any less of a person. And so he has really like taken off. He has been through divorces and different things, but he has definitely pulled himself up. And that's another thing. It's being said that I'm not trying to help myself, which is really weird. She's only asking for money. She's not doing anything. Oh, I'm not. What would you like me to do? What would you like me to do when I can't walk 10 feet? Or you want me to stand out there with the sign outside or go get a job when I'm getting, disability from Social Security? Would you, I'm not sure what the meaning of saying I'm not doing anything and that I'm just not pulling myself up. And so it is really weird, but Sunshine did it. And, I've done that my entire life. Now is not the time. I have the viewership and people that care. So they are helping financially. And I think the guys hate it. I think they hate that I'm telling what's going on, and the ones that are helping, that doesn't offend them because they know what their worth is. I know what my worth is. My husband loves me whether I'm this big or how big I was before I put on all the steroid weight or the water weight. People just can't stand that me and George are happy and that we love our cats and that we talk about what's going on in their lives. Nobody has sat there and outright just picked on them based on their looks or their teeth or that, it's just crazy. It is really insane. But yes, Mark left behind a hot mess, allegedly, and that he did show up with no money. He had admitted that. He had no money. It was like enough to get by for the month. And it was just, yeah, no insurance, no nothing. And it was okay for them to ask for money. Then in the end, they asked for money for his funeral and the baby and all that. They did. They outright did. It was in the video. I was waiting for when, and it's there's nothing wrong with asking for help. At least I have the nerve to ask. It's just where it is. Oh, their eyes open up. Yeah, look at these two here. Hey, Ebby. That's the black and white one is Ebby. That's the one that was pinned under the car with their own collar. She was under there for 2 days, and the neighbor had to cut her out with scissors. Well, it was a knife she brought, not scissors. And yeah, I was wondering why she wouldn't come for food and water. 2 days. They put a red ribbon around her neck and tied her to a fence. She got away, and when the ladies pulled in next door, they ran over the ribbon, and it was literally probably about as short as this. And they said she couldn't move at all. Her head was down on the concrete. And I was like, shit. She was lucky she was alive. But there she is over there playing with the light. Hey, we call her Ebby because Ebby, I believe, just in Japanese means shrimp because she was little. But they also had the Ebby burger, which is a shrimp burger, was going on at McDonald's or something. Yep, you attention seeker. Yeah, it is. Anybody that says they're not doing it for money, then why are you doing it? You're not doing expat help. We were doing expat help during that time. I can only think of two or three other channels, like the Filipina P was telling people how to get here and what was going on. I still like the Filipina P. Then there is, you had, oh, what was her name? Jennifer Terry. Wow, day after day telling people how to get here and what was going on with the pandemic. When we were in Mexico, we were covering all of that. And we were covering when it was going to reopen and all of this stuff. And then once we got in the country, that's what we did. We did free video chats. We did all kinds of stuff. That's what we did. We still talk crap on the side. Hey, so and so messed up or whatever. But then we realized to fall more into the drama side just to get people's attention. It's what gets their attention. And yeah, it's, but the rest of them now that, oh, I've got money, I've got this, I had this career, I have this, and then Antics is no good. They're criminals and they're just bad people and they just can't do anything but eBay. And I'm like, dude, you're just seeking attention. You evidently have something wrong in your household if you're living in America with a great life and you're spending 30, 40 minutes, it's longer than that, uploading thumbnails, even if they're AI. But I'm like, how pathetic is that? How? At least I'm not working and I'm keeping myself busy and keeping my mind off my pain. You're just doing it for like a total freak show. It doesn't make any sense about the crab mentality that, okay, so we did get some money for my medical and what? See my lifestyle of the rich and famous, my $1 million troublemaker here. Mal, you want to come over here? Huh? Want to come say hi, Stinky Chinks? Huh? Stinky Chinks. Chinks Chinks. Minx Chinks. But that's amazing. Another bad example of what not to do. Oh my God, yeah, they came in. That was another thing. That person on Mike, our Philippine Journeys channel. That's what they were referring to. She picked on some guy's kid. No, I didn't pick on him. I called him what he was. I'm from the '70s when you don't have a proper father or no, because allegedly she slept with whoever, he was a bastard. And it came out of my mouth that day. Oh my God, she cussed about a kid, and he was all off like a rocket. I'll beat her up and I'll, you ain't doing shit, bitch. You ain't doing nothing because I told the truth. You lied to your viewers flat out. Flat out. You said you were married. Your whole channel ran on a lie. I'm married to a Filipina. We have a married life. The whole channel was my Philippine wife, Panay, or whatever. They had a whole different name. And it was like, whoa. And then it turns out they told on themselves. They did break up. She went into another area because there was no hospital nearby. Allegedly, he came back to have the baby. He has a family back in America. And the whole thing was they cried, don't know if it's my kid or not. So it wasn't his kid. It wasn't his kid. So the child is a technical bastard. I used the correct term. They just got offended and said I was just picking on the baby. No, you did that to your baby, bitch. You put him on air. You put your baby on air your entire life. Then, okay, like me, people can talk. Go ahead. But he got so offended. He called me a hog. He went on for days trying to fight back. And it's like, oh, wah, wah, and what? You had nothing. And then there was a lot of other side stuff. Then it turned out in the end, the property wasn't even hers, it belonged to her husband. She had, I guess I don't know what it was, but allegedly it was with her. She was still married. And allegedly the property did have his name on it somehow, some way. And there are ways to add your names to the titles. You may not fully own it, but he might have been protected. It turns out all kinds of crazy shit. And in the end, he's not even living with her anymore. He tried to live on the property. Now he's living somewhere else with his girlfriend. Now he's trying to rebuild. Now he's complaining about the new family for content. So, sure, we're going to cover some stuff like this. It's like, what not to do? Okay. Hey, what's going on? What is going on? Hey, Tio Chong. Black Grandpa's in the house. Tio Chong is in the house. Stinky Chinks is in the house. Chinx. Chinks. Stinky Chinks. Hey, Stinky Chinks. Hey. See how he responds? He just opened his eyes. Hey, what? Oh, what's that look for, man? Oh, shit. I got that look. He's got his eyes open staring at me. Okay. Okay, Parnell. I just call you by your real name. Perry Parnell. I'm sorry. Perry Parnell. What's wrong? He's tired now that he's been up playing all night and ripping across my back. Heidi, I love George dancing YouTube. Yeah, that was funny. That was really funny. There was a kitten on my balcony, and I sure want to help him. Hey, if we had any accomplishments, I would have rescued kittens instead of having kids. My kids are ungrateful, and that's just the way it is. Family members can be ungrateful, and they definitely can turn their backs on you when you decide to do something with your life. And in that scenario, yeah. How about probably the 50 cats we've rescued? Most of them were half dead on the street. Accomplishment enough for me. Score with God or somebody, even if it is just the gods. I scored because we love the animals, both me and George. And I think that says something. We have people, the ones that are calling us fat and criminals, and the ones that are saying, oh my God, they got nothing but nasty cats in the house. Then that tells you what type of person you are. Sorry. That you would just say that, oh, I like animals. Mm-hmm. Evidently. Go to the Philippines, but if you don't have a minimum 2,500 a month, yeah, I would probably say that because we're on about two a month right now, and it's we don't have to worry about the basics, but it would take a long time for us to save 40,000 for an open heart surgery, so it is a problem. Um, and it's, yeah, I would say, especially if you have one or two kids. So I'm with you on that. George doesn't like when I say it, but it is the truth. That's what I mean. Why would I, risk my entire life for sure and put myself through a 15 plus pain level to get home? And then it's going to be a long trial error, making appointments, how to take care of things when I haven't been back in America in 6 years. So why would I? I'm telling you, why would I? Possibly shit myself in the airport? Who's going to clean me up? I'm not hiring a nurse in. So it's no, guys, you have no idea what these medicines are doing to my stomach. It's just a mess. That's how bad it is. I'm saying the things that people won't that are sick. I'm talking to a guy now that's here in the Philippines that he is also with congestive heart failure. He called it stage four. It's usually stage D or it's the last stages. And he's got his oxygen on and he's just laid up in bed like I am. There's nothing we can do at this point. And it's not easy. And when you hit the last stages, it's because the medicines aren't working, your body's filling with fluid. Hey, hey, Stinky Chinks, come here. Hey, no battle of the royal. Come here. Come here, boy. Look at him distracted. Mm, 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 mm. Stop before you guys knock that stuff over. And sadly, when the medicines aren't working, when you have, if you are sitting still and you still can't breathe and you're still short of breath and gasping, and if you are still full of fluids and medicines aren't really working well, that is the last stages. But there are other signs, but yes, he's in his last stages like I am. Like you said, you could be around for a while. I could be possibly around if I take my medicines and rest for another 2 years. But I was also told I had less than 6 months. So and here I am on the fifth month. So I told George, birthday month's not looking really promising, especially being as I'm up my water pills and the amount of fluid coming out my legs is ridiculous right now. It is a weird feeling because I can feel the water moving inside, but when it's running down your legs, I was standing in the kitchen and by the bed, and there was just blood and water just running down my legs, and it was just crazy, man. Stay above ground, people. Live life. You have cable TV, YouTube, entertainment. Yeah, it's all it is, right? It's you want reality, go back to the life you have and be happy with what you got. Yeah. And a lot of people, which I understand, are like, "Hey, why are you even doing YouTube? You need to live every minute." Okay, but will be asleep. He stayed up all night, so he might not even get up till noon today. So in this case, I'm going to do the YouTube. It keeps my mind off of things. I'm in a lot of pain right now. So it's a distraction to be able to talk and to do this. And like what else am I going to do when I'm limited, very limited? So of course I'm going to continue the YouTube. I said I would until I pass away or till I move on and get back out there and do the recording that we did a few years ago. I know where you live. There are people that have given out our address flat out on their YouTube channel, flat out gave a map and everything. And I'm like, what would be the purpose of that? Because you're still going to get an ass whooping. See, here's my deal. I might mention there are things going on, but I'm not going to obsess so much that I'm doing an entire live stream based on somebody's live stream. Like, okay, well, so and so said that I was in prison for 40 years and that I stole everything out of the store and that I was stealing grapes and that I beat on my husband. And I'm not going through all that. I am not going to talk about all of that, true or not true. No, I'm gonna wait to whoop your ass when you think you're gonna come over here and do something. Those are the ones that have the balls and audacity. Then you know where I live, man. It's like I don't care. Diarrhea, leaking legs, I'm still gonna whoop your ass and put you in that paper bag and then whoop you back out of it. It's where it is, man. It's like if people want to, then go ahead. Yeah, we did this earlier, Robert. Yeah. Heidi's fan know it because she never hit it. Yeah. The other ones are big fans too. And when they couldn't get to me, they start on George. It's really wild. It's wild. Oh, he can't go home either because he's got warrants in America. We had warrants when we left Mexico. George has been arrested a ton of times. He beat all of his wives. It's crazy. It's like, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Same channels that cover several channels and lie about everything. Da, 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 da. Yeah, so I see where you're saying that. Oh, yeah, sorry, dude. I do. I skim when I read through things and emails, and then I have to slow down. It's the same when I had the full ability to go through and clean the house every day. I would like when I was dusting. George would say, "Slow down, Heidi. You're going too fast." So with ADHD, we're processing at a weird speed, and I get bored really easy. So I will start 4 movies in a row, and I get 10 minutes in and it's stupid, like, George, this is just stupid. Can I change it? He's like, yeah, I was thinking so too. So it was like, and I will go through that. Same with, I'll watch 3 minutes of something. So it's the same with that. My mind's, that's race, race, race. And so sorry, dude. They can be, but what they want is to think that it's fully changing our lives. And if those guys are weak enough to follow it, we didn't need them at the channel anyways. They weren't going to support financially for what's going on. Those are the same dudes that will give to those channels that don't need it. Like they'll just throw $20 and believe anything else. It's like they can be led easily. We cannot. And I know the people that are watching cannot. They have contacted me and said they are contacting us. And that's crazy. That's crazy that these guys would go that far to contact people. Could be, I've had problems with my sisters. I've had problems with my kids. I've had problems with neighbors in the past. I've had problems with George, but it's the ones that proceed to really try to get at you and destroy your life inside out like that. And it's like, uh, we've called immigration. We've contacted the police. We've contacted Social Security. You'll be going, yeah, you bitches said that like a year ago. I know that I'm legal. I know that I can still get it and be on here. It's just amazing. And then the other people like, yeah, that's true. That's what's going on. And if you, it's like, what is it? You can't lead a horse to water and make them drink, or I don't know. They can just be led. I'm not getting the right saying, but you were ready to drink the Kool-Aid yourself if you just fully bought up all of that. Reading, reading, reading. I am on 80 milligrams of aspirin and another one. I don't think it was Xarelto. So they do have me on like one blood thinner and the aspirin right now. So I don't remember what it is. It's an inexpensive one here. So, and I just started that. That's just been since January because I do highly believe if I didn't start these medicines in January, I'd be dead. Again, I discussed the cardiac output and my stroke level. Those probably haven't changed a whole lot, and whatever's going on has just gotten worse. And it's crazy. But I haven't been on them very long. But I still attribute to me cutting back on salt. We were eating out a couple times a month. We probably had donuts twice a month, and these things I just got rid of. Watch what I was doing, eating, drinking because I was just drinking. I, had big bottles of water, coconut water, going to town on whatever I wanted during this time. So now that I have more what the doctor's telling me to do, then it's been better, but now it's just dipping again. So there's only so much you can do when your heart is totally failing. It doesn't matter if I cut the salt out the water. Yeah, but yeah, that's a long time. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure of this, but I would assume I'm not a cardiologist that when the stents go in or open heart surgery, I don't think I need to stay on water pills the rest of my life, but I could be wrong. It may still continue, but I don't think so because that's because the heart is pumping differently and that because of that, it's retaining fluids. There's like a whole system of how that works. So if the heart's reworking again and I'm unclogged, I'm pretty sure I can get off most of the water pills too. Good question. No, and we don't expect to. So, any word, of course, we would have said something. So, the answer is no, unless we go as they have stated on his page. Unless you go to his studio, which I have no ability of doing, then we're probably not going to get on. We have emailed him. We have others have left messages, and we've already announced. Not because other channels said I contacted and it's not going to happen, we know it's not probably going to happen. So he probably gets all kinds of things from not only Filipinos, but expats also. There's a lot of problems with expats here. So not everybody gets on. So I don't feel that I'm special. I can only ask. So the answer is no, nothing yet. And I think what's it only been like a week or something. So unless we go to the studio, that's how you're going to be seen. When the not Ahern family, it was the other one. Armstrong family went. They didn't get on based on emails and phone calls. They had to physically go in, and she didn't get on right away. There's no way that I can just go there just to sit. So if he doesn't respond and say, "Hey, meet us at this time," then it's not going to happen for sure. So we don't expect him. Yeah, that's Um, here's the way I look at it. Like I said, I see them as being mentally retarded, broken, attention seeking. Like it screams. If they are, if there could be nothing good going on in their lives if they got to the point of wishing me dead. They act like I slapped their mama or something. They're acting like I personally took money, like shot somebody in the foot. They act like they are the police of the Philippines and that, oh my God, she talked about that expat. That's the end of her. She doesn't deserve anything. And it's crazy. So they're demented, they're mentally retarded, the crab mentality, hurt nerves, and that they're just insecure. It's insecurity that's causing them to scream back. And so I know what they are. Our people know what they are. They just think they're something else and they're not. They really are not. So just the one channel to scream out that he's the best person and he did everything right and that I did everything wrong. I said, man, just take a look in the mirror. Take a good strong look. We're not the same color. We're not the same like race. Like he's not even outright American. He says he is, but the whole point is we're totally different in all manners. Male, female, different colors, different places and ethnicities, and we're totally different in all ways. Again, I've had two human beings. That's more of an accomplishment than he could even think about, no matter whether I'm a good or evil person. And it's like the comparison is so narcissistic. It's unreal. It's just unreal. Yes, Heidi, it's unfortunate you had that kind of treatment. For the record, it was not Mike who timed you out. Okay, did he mention this later or you knew who did? So it was still messed up either way. And so I'm not going to go back and deal again. So it's extremely upsetting for me because it's only channels like that that I would kind of take it personal because he everything else is allowed in the room. So I didn't even go in and outright call somebody a name. So what moderator did and why? It didn't make any sense. Have you checked on flying to Guam? Yeah, I can't get on the plane, Robert. There's no way for me to even go to Guam. They do take they do take Medicare, but we know people that have lived there and it's not that easy to get directly into their hospitals either. There's limits to their hospitals. Then I would need to arrange having extra money for hotel stays and it would not be that easy, not directly in. Remember, I have to reestablish my Medicare. I already told you guys that's something I don't think a lot of people are thinking about. I'm going to have to reestablish it. I don't know if it's a week. I don't know if it takes 2 weeks, but I have to reestablish that and I have to go apply for a supplement. Being I have just my Social Security, I would reapply for any supplements that pay those co-pays, even though they were like 25 or 50. It's the supplemental insurance. So I figure I'm going to be about a month once I get there, but I can't because my legs are leaking. I've been more honest with you about diarrhea. I can't walk more than 10 feet. I need oxygen. That is an automatic no. And all three doctors say no, and my pain levels say no. So I can't make it anywhere. I can make it to the bank, and that's only because it's a 5-10 minute trip. It's right across the street, literally from us, and that's it. I have to stick close to the house for all reasons, especially with my legs leaking. It's blood and water just running down my legs. It's not pretty. I'm like, boom. Oh, my lips are extremely dry and I put chapstick on it, but I think it's made it worse. Yeah, I'm not going to be cleared no matter what. No, it can't be cleared. No, my look at that. That's just from dryness on my lips. My lips have been extremely dry. My skin, my feet, they're cracking and everything. That's why my hair was falling out. My scalp was itchy, felt like pins and needles. It just the further along I come, it just everything seems like it's drying out. So there's no way. Even if I lied and just tried to walk up, they're gonna know it. They're gonna know something's wrong because after a few minutes I have to hunch over and I have to sit or I'm going to fall and I literally make noises. I'm in so much pain. I mean, I'm like, ah, ah, ah. So they're going to know something's wrong. And then it's my life is more at risk than me sitting here for another year if I had to. So I'm not getting on a plane. And I don't know why that's so hard. Not for the people that are curious. Well, I was just curious. No, they're the hardcore ones that say, yeah, we're not doing anything. You're not getting a dime and you're lying because you won't get on a plane. It's weird. And weirdly, I didn't think I'd be talking much about that section today because I told George, I said, okay, I'm gonna do a live today. So I'm gonna try to stay off the subject, but it's kinda hard. It's what's going on in my life. Heidi, you unfortunately have one of the most unapologetic rude dispositions on YouTube. I think contributes to your entire scenario. Yeah, I just am going to say what shoots off of my hip. I think Sunshine's in the same position. He's not going to sugarcoat the dating, whether it's good or bad, or how he feels about the women. I respect him when he talks about big back women because I can look at somebody and say that too. When I see people stuffing their faces, I say something. I'm like, George, wow, can you see this, and that? So we all have our things that we do and talk about and everything. And the same with him. It's just but he does a lot of good too. He gives a lot of money away. And like somebody said, you guys don't see us doing that. We hand money out all the time. We've been to these little orphanages around here and give to feeding programs. And George always is feeding the animals when he's out, or if he sees an older guy that's sick that's looking for food, he always does it. I'm like, George, take extra money with you when you're on out the door and change. He gives money to the kids around this neighborhood. So everybody does their bit. If Medicare was taken there, I would have moved there 10 years ago. Yeah. They're claiming they've been working on it hard. Key point of note, airlines allow the carriage of respiratory devices such as sleep apnea machines on board for long haul. Airlines also have mobility assistant for elderly. Sure, they do, but that's not going to assist me. We've discussed that. They do have that. I've said this, and it's been in a full discussion. So you can carry them, but if I'm wearing it, which after a short period of time I will be having to wear it in the airport, that's a no. And yes, okay. Have you been assisted by airline mobility for the elderly? Because I have been. I have been. The last part of the trip from Mexico, I was having issues. My body was totally cramped up, and it could have just been the lupus or whatever. And they will push you down there, but they don't follow you onto the airplane and assist you and do all of that stuff and stay with you. So I get that part of it. It's not what everybody says it is. There's still limits for them helping. So I'm aware that they'll push me through the airport, but in between, there'll be nobody walking me to a bathroom that could be 30 feet, 40 feet. Or a lot of the bathrooms in the airports are longer distances. And when you're hurting as bad as me, stiff as me, and as sick as me, that would be a hot mess if I end up with a diarrhea bout or too much fluid running down my legs. I need to rewrap them with the cotton. It just is not going to be possible. But forget your key point of note. I'm not risking a blood clot, even if the no doctor's note. This is a good possibility. This is a high possibility, and there's just not that. There are several things that could happen to me. My doctor said absolutely no. But if I show up with the oxygen machine, which I will need, then it's not going to happen. I don't know, again, why it's so. One person said they've got them on board that I can just use the ones there. And I'm like, yeah, that's not happening either. I am apparently sick, not because I'm big. I look like I'm having kidney issues. I have put a lot of weight on, and that is not from eating. We've been talking about that. My body is probably holding at least 100 pounds worth of water weight right now. It's just getting crazier by the moment. I just look sick. So forget if it's whether I'm in pain, whether it's cleared by a doctor, or whether it just, or my own medical risk in not making it. It's a no all the way around. I will stay here and wait. It doesn't mean that I'm not sick because I won't get on an airplane. Somehow it is the trolls and the other channels that are so focused that I'm not sick. And even when we end up in the emergency at the hospital and the procedure's done, you guys will still find something to go on about. Then you'll go back to talking about something that was before that. Oh, remember when she asked for the wheelchair? Yeah, that was due to my lupus and my knee problems. Knees had no reason to make me go back to the US. Oh, second wind, you're always sexy. Aw, everybody's cute in their own way. It has been raining hard. It's been raining really hard here. That's it. Nobody is promised. Nobody is promised that. And I believe that too. And I already said I'm getting my own karma. Maybe I did talk too much about other expats' lives here. I wouldn't say that I went hard on them, talking about their sizes and, I mean, and going on about things deeply about their personal lives, but we've always, even George, we've always given a scenario of what to do and what not to do. And people just don't like it. Like you said, it's too blunt. But in the end, I'm getting my own karma, I think. And George says, "No, you don't deserve it." Because I had a cry the other day because my mother's photos are here on the wall, and my mom died at 50. I should have done more for her. My mom was financially struggling. She still had teenagers in the house when she died, and they were not so good to her. And so we were bringing her food and bringing her items. I was like, I should have done more. I should have spent more time, should have spent overnights. Maybe I should have been nicer when I was younger. There were years that I didn't talk to my mother when I was raising the kids. I was too busy in my struggle and working and school and all these other things. Karma, it can come back one way or the other. And I will get all the karma that I deserve. So, but I believe it goes around. What comes around, yeah, will go around. It's easier to believe a lie than to seek the truth or go after the truth. And that means all these vloggers that are talking about me and spreading misinformation and the ones that are following it were just weak minded. You're not changing my life. I'm not being deported. I'm not losing my income. And I'm not going back to the US. And it's the bottom line. They can't handle it. They're losing their shit. And watch how they change their tune when I end up in the hospital in a week, because we're going to go in one way or the other with the amount of money we have and the insurance. And when I do, it's going to be, oh, well, she's just fat and that's what caused it no matter what. My cholesterol was fine, guys. Right now, I'm being advised it's my APS and my lupus that's probably causing it. I've also accepted it could have just been me, but they'll find something else. They'll always find something. Before my heart issues, it was something else. Oh, she's a big criminal. Oh, she's a loser and had no money. Oh, they had this and they had that. And it's like, we just laugh. George is like, ha, these are lies. If they can't get you, they're going after me. And it's like, oh, we're getting famous. That's where it came. Don't be jealous, man. Don't be jealous. Right? It takes guts to get on the plane and come to the Philippines. It really does. You're right, Ray. Flights getting here are rough. 21 hours on a plane, a lot of turbulence for me. It's 16, 17 hours in the air. And if you have the straight through ones, when we came, there weren't a lot of options for straight through. So ours was like 40 something hours. We stopped in Singapore for 5, 6 hours during the pandemic. There was nobody in there. And what is wrong with that dog? I'm gonna kick that dog. Here's the thing: there's loose dogs in the neighborhood. He barks at them, or it is somebody sitting in front of the house waiting to get money from the public official. And when they do, it's insane. Like 5 or 6 people will stand out there and talk. They sit out there at like 5 in the morning and they're talking. And even George goes, "What is going on?" Okay, so the dog is going off because there's a guy cutting trees and malunggay trees down off the wall. So he's having a total fit. But I think the guy is going to use the malunggay. It's like but he's cutting down a crap load of it. But, anyways, the flights are extremely long. And so we stopped in Singapore and then went on through. So it's a long trip. Well, we went from Mexico City into Los Angeles for a while, and then Los Angeles, and we stopped in Singapore. But even if you're straight through, yeah, it's 16, 17 hours in the air. So it's still, yeah, I think that is the lowest amount is 21, maybe just checking in and arriving. And then once you get to the United States, it's going to depend on where you're going. So it is a long time, and normal people over the age of 50, you're going to deal with swelling and fluid retention. And that's another thing. Besides a blood clot, the fluid retention would be so bad, it'd probably coming up through my throat. I cannot imagine the amount that it would cause when I'm already leaking fluid out my legs. I cannot sit there on an airplane. I got a towel under me right now. Ain't even kidding. Because I have so much fluid. If I stand in one spot, there's a lot of it. A lot. I can slip. Almost slipped and fell. So it's not it's crazy. So if I was on a plane, it just wouldn't make any sense. And I'm proud to say I'm not going, bitches. There's no way. And then nobody also insensitively thought about me just being alone and leaving George here. Again, you guys, if it was the opposite, it was old dog and baby May be like, oh, let's get him the money, blah blah blah. I don't want him leaving baby May there. Let's get him the money. It wouldn't even be hesitating. Don't say it's because he's helped all these people and he doesn't talk shit. No, old dog back in the days talked some shit too, and he has covered weird topics. The whole point is nobody's immune from nothing. It doesn't matter what channel. Sometimes it changes when it comes to the scenarios. So you wouldn't expect old dog to leave baby May behind. It's no different than me leaving George. I don't want to be separated from George. And the same with telling baby May to go get a job. You wouldn't tell baby May. We've had a lot of George is a bum, go get a job emails. Why won't he help? I'm not helping. Well, you weren't going to help to begin with, bitch. You weren't going to help to begin with if you're sending this wicked email. And it's like, no, he takes care of me. The tops he would make is $20 if he hit a call center, and he's not going to do. I can't get around. Somebody's got to do all this stuff now. So it's just unreal, insensitive, and just narcissistic of them to go on and on. By the way, it's about the same 6, 7 channels slash people, and we're aware of that too. There's not been a whole lot of new ones. It's the same ones, and then you have probably 20 or 30 mindless people that keep repeating the same thing. So she's been dating people too. Like they at New Year's, it was showing her out with people after he passed away. She actually was going to parties on New Year's, and I guess that gets your mind off things. But I doubt that short of a period I'd have been out stepping out in a black dress. She was in a fancy black dress at New Year's. So yeah, it's kind of where it is. And yes, I'm sure she moved on. There were already people lined up. That was for sure. Yep, he sure did. Jennifer Terry is awesome. The Filipino P did a lot of things. A lot of people think there's like a great hate, just again, just because I call her out on there aren't microwaves in the Philippines, like when she was in America showing shit at Walmart. We called her out on that, and then people like, oh, you hate her. Yeah, that's what it is. When we call somebody out, it's absolutely hate. So that's when regular news channels say things about this and that or other celebrities or the president. They hate them, or when they say good, it's only because they like him. No, you can mention either or, and it doesn't mean that's how we're personally feeling, unless I tell you to suck it, you know? But yeah, Jennifer Terry's awesome. The Filipina P used to do a lot more help in the beginning. Then she got more into the dating and how a Filipina is. She got really heavy into that because she was not only being scripted, but she was being led by whoever she was dating and running her channel. So it just became odd for us. So we don't watch that much anymore. We thought it became too commercial. And I've got a problem with it being so commercial. The cat wrangler. It was okay. We had it like twice and we just couldn't take it no more because it did seem weird. It was like they weren't cooking it. We thought it was more shrimpy than their fish sandwiches. Like their fish sandwich is weird. And we just think McDonald's is weird, but it's different than America. It does seem to be not as processed. It seems like it had a better flavor here. I read last night that YouTube is going to start requiring vloggers who use AI to state so. No, they already are supposed to. It's not, it actually states they're supposed to check the boxes, but it doesn't. It doesn't say on these recent people that have been using AI of us or other people. There's no statement that that's what's being used. But they feel that they're using somebody like us. They're just giving a scenario, but everybody knows who they're talking about. So but they're supposed to use it. Yeah, I was. No, I was for sure. He was going off. Like he was using his kid. No, what it is you're mad at your woman and you're 2 steps to leaving anyway. So you're just taking it out on me. That's where it was. He was like, how dare her talk about my son? And it ain't your son. You already said it wasn't your son. So then not your son. And He is a bastard. So you're saying I cussed him out. Nobody cussed your baby out. She's attacking my son, and I would just beat the shit out of her if she was here. And she's just a fat hog. Is like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." Just bite me, man. There it is. Speaking of hogs, a few days ago, I saw a large hog I ever seen. Oh, was it carrying him on a trike? Yeah. Yeah, there is a way. We were told that he possibly had some commercial businesses and then he would be able to. But the land wasn't even hers. He moved on there and put a bunch of money into it. When they broke up and she had slept with him and had this kid and she had been all of that stuff. In the end, she built a whole different building and was living there and they were just going to live separately on there. Then he brought his girlfriend over and they were all living on the property. A few months later they both took off. So I we knew we called it. We said they're leaving after a while, and they did. There's just no way, like George said, that'll never work. Even people living on the land illegally they have claims right to be there. My kids used to say I treated my dogs better than them. I said, "Yep, they mind me better." That is true. Yeah, if I'd have thought about it, I would have probably had animals too. I just, coming from the 70s and 80s, the kids were born in the 80s. One was born exactly in the 90s, and the one was late 80s. That it's just part of life. You were going to have kids, you were going to get married and all that. So but if my dad said the exact same thing, in the end, he had four chihuahuas and he had them forever, forever. And he said the same thing. He loved those dogs, man. He loved those dogs. My dogs were always treated great. I admire you that you had the strength to make the move to the Philippines. A lot of people are not that strong to do that. That and that I'm even speaking up on this because initially I told George that we were just going to keep this all under wraps. I can go without oxygen for a few hours. It's not that I can't, okay? It's, all day I have to check my oxygen. If it is up at the top, even though I'm still gasping for air, it's because the amount of fluid around my body. It doesn't mean that I'm not oxygenated. This helps me breathe better. But if it is, I can't leave it on all the time. The doctor already said that 16 up to 16 hours a day. If okay, we keep track on what's going on. So I can't. So I could have sat here and faked it all, like really faked it and said there was nothing wrong. But I'm like, George, no. If I'm dying like any day up to the next year or however long it is, I want people to know it's because I didn't have the insurance or because we ran out of savings or that we are just regular people. We is broke and that after we were on there with our Philippine journey and he initially was on our show, kind of going along with, yeah, you're sick and this is what happened to me. Like initially when we were on that show, we listened to him. He's like, yeah, you're really sick. Yeah, I am really sick. And it's like he goes, I would keep talking about it. I would ask for the money. And it kind of did encourage me to continue to say, hey, I'm dying. If we don't end up with, the amount has changed because if I go to a public hospital, it will be cheaper. But most people do not want to go to public. And I really don't either. I still have some reserves. But when his brother said this hospital is okay and they have top of the line too, it's better than me sitting here and dying. And if I don't make my move soon, I'm going to lose my leg. And if I have to have it amputated, I'm never going to heal and I'm never going to even be able to get the stents because it's just going to be that bad. So I have to make my move soon. And so the amount can vary. This may cost us 10,000, and if they need open heart surgery, it still could run 30 or 40,000 US. So it's yeah, I'm going to ask. Either people will be able to support or they won't. But if I don't ask, but same weird thing is people will support a old lady that's at Walmart. Okay, it's because she's working. Well, I've worked my entire life too, dudes. And it's like you come up with a fund of $1 million so she doesn't have to work at Walmart anymore. Okay, I get it. But me asking for a certain amount is like, oh hell no. And it's like, why? It's like, so I can ask too. So it takes a lot of nerves to talk about these dumbasses that are talking about us or to call them out on their bullshit and to actually go through with what I'm doing. I'm petting myself on the shoulder because it is a big deal. And I am pulling myself up from my bootstraps, dumbass. That was what the other vlogger said. And I'm like, what you talking about, Willis? What are you talking about? What would you like me to do? Okay, or I kind of don't get it. George is at his max. His family has given a large chunk of money. His family has been supportive. His brother has been over here. He's helped quite a bit, and George has to fully take care of the household. I get some things done, not much, like I have to keep moving. So I will go out on, out there, and I'll feed the cats or something. I have to move and move. I don't know what people expect George to do. So we are both at our max of what can be done. And we never stop thinking or trying to figure this out either. So it is one day at a time. And so yeah, I do feel that it's being much stronger than the others. So um, comparing what's going on in your life to ours, or just can't do it. But people, I think, are just they're scared of what they don't understand, and they're scared about their own mortality. I really believe that they're seeing me dying and it's a full denial. Oh, she's lying. She's scamming. And no, because they don't want to accept that it could happen to them. It is what could possibly happen. Or they already have issues with their heart. If they're on blood pressure, one or two are having issues of breathing, they're probably scared. So that's for sure. I'd rather watch the stories about expats than be the next story. Lived 3 years near Mike down the street, Paul Old Dog, and one neighbor gone. Sim Pro Life as Calvin is cool friend. Aha. Yeah, I mean, yep, I agree. But, some of us have to put the truths out there and cover the guys. And that's the one thing I am that's not out there. There is no other older female expat living on Social Security, married to a Filipino that is here permanently, not the ones that drift in and out, not the ones up in BGC. Like the one is running a business and she's not. She's still running. One's got a daughter that's 10, and another one we watch has a daughter that I think just turned 17 or 18, but she's running a business. It's a whole different scenario than what I'm doing. And she doesn't do live streams, and she never did expat help. They just do entertainment. They do the TikTok dances. And the other one gives some advice, but it's more about being a single mother. And she's younger, way younger. So, no comparison to somebody calling out the bullshit going on here, good or bad. So, but yeah, I guess it could be covered one way or the other for sure. See you later. See you later. Good luck, Gary, and have a good day and take care of the cats. Hey, Laura. Yeah, I can't see further down. Oh, that dog. Maybe he'll bark and wake up George. Good morning. It has risen. I don't have an exact number, and I was going to cover that today, but I just thought, being that strictly only flat out Filipino, I try to stick where it's dealing with both, and it does because there was an expat that died. He was from Korea, or I said Singapore. I don't remember where it was. And it is, and now they're saying they can smell the decaying bodies, and they are still trying to rescue and clean up and stuff. And now they're showing as the building fell, there's new footage, and there's footage of before. It was shoddy, guys. It looked shoddy. I'm not a construction person, but it was scary. There just was nobody minding the store. And that's the problem I have with some of the government officials. And I don't know who was minding the store on this building, but it was something was going to happen anyway. So can George go to Rafi's studio and you do an online video chat? It's a possibility. Yeah, it's a possibility. Um, we haven't fully decided to send him down there. He said he would do it, but I have not pulled the trigger. That is me, because I still feel we shouldn't have to go that far, because we still know we're different, and we have sent an email on a daily basis. And if he's not responding, it's not that the other people have contact with him, and because he's not answering that easy to them either. And so he's not going to listen to a channel that just talks about all channels. You check his channel out too. There's no way this is happening. So it's a possibility that he could, yes. I just don't think he's going to do it. We haven't even held our breath on it. And it would require money. Yes, you guys, it's a big risk either way. It would cost us about 100. It's at least 100 to take a ride there. He wouldn't use the car. The trip to over there would cost about $100. And then, like he said, he may not get in the first day. So then, like you said, we're going to have to book a few days in a hotel. And it's like, we'd rather save the 200, $300 that it would take to be down there for a few days than to, because it doesn't mean that he's going to get in. There is no guarantee based on a couple hundred. We need that couple hundred right now. My medicines are over 300. So the hydrochloroquine is over 100 alone for the month supply. That's one of the lupus. And without the lupus medicines, then everything else gets really inflamed. Everybody saying hi. Some of these people asking clueless questions. I challenge you to go volunteer at an assisted living facility. It would really open your eyes. Yes, it did. Working at Truman Neurological Center was very eye opening. And when I did it, this was in the 90s. Never said it was recently. It was in the 90s. And a lot of that was where a lot of them came out of. Like, they had people in mental facilities, they had them just at home being mistreated. And so these kids in these facilities, they had like daytime workshops there. They had a daytime schooling where they would put them in there. Even if they were adults, a lot of them weren't fully like educated due to mental illnesses, due to learning disabilities, because they were neurological. And then right next to it was the actual facility where they lived, and there was a hospital on property. And so there was literally a walkway that connected the school and the working facility, and then where they lived. And then they had like 6 pods, and each pod had so many bedrooms, and there were 2 beds in each one. And it was very eye opening, because I had never worked with anybody disabled or really been around anybody. When you're growing up, you only see somebody in a wheelchair, but it was easy. It was easier than I thought. I was nervous for a few days. And then I'm like, when you realize they're just people, and there's no difference except for, they were dealt bad hands, and that they were just different more than disabled, then it wasn't a big deal to me. And it was easier for me to understand them also. It's because I have more of an open mind, probably the mind of a child. It's just like, because I'm always joking around. We watch cartoons together here, me and George. It's like easier going than you guys think. And it was, in the end, I thought of them as family, and it was really easy after that. Well, real family, anyways. You know what I mean? You just treat them like they're your kids or your own family. It became easier. You have to be in a certain mindset, not these poison ones that go into these facilities or nursing homes, and they're stealing their stuff. They're beating on them. They're doing some weird stuff to these. You guys have seen the bad nurse aides, nurses that go in and mistreat people. So I did that for a while. So, and like I said, I worked for Habitat for Humanity. Okay. That was volunteering. And we're not only talking about the building part of it. It was in Bradenton, Florida. I think they considered the edge of it Sarasota. They had the Habitat for Humanity store, and it's where all the furniture was and clothing. It was a thrift shop. All the money went to furniture. They were allowed to come in and get furniture, and that I also volunteered for. I took care of ill parents for over 10 years. So, and there it's like everybody has their pluses and minuses, but try some of that for a while. It's really humbling to be here in the Philippines. I did talk a lot of shit about the Philippines when I got here. It's because I didn't understand, and it is hot. Everything I'm saying is true, but when you get to know the people and understand who and why they are, it makes it a lot easier. Yep, anything can happen at any time. Yes, I think they're seeing their own mortality, and it's just where it is for sure. When traveling to Philippine to Canada, I take Taiwan Airlines that stop in Taiwan and then to Clark Airport, then drive to Vegan Ilocos, north of my wife's hometown. Ah, okay. I always recommend if people are coming here, a lot of them will stop in Manila first. I'm like, you might as well spend the extra money. By the time you get a decent person to bring you over here, it's like another $100. You might as well just come in here. The airport's like empty. It's really wild. Baby May is looking rough. She's not aging well. She looks stressed to me and like she's losing a bunch more weight. So frosted flakes, we have not, and we don't expect to. So we were only hopeful. People have wrote, but geez, it's only been like a week, I think. So, like I said, somebody, if you just heard me, just discuss that. Has George considered? We have, but we know that the car we have mechanically may not be able to go that far. The AC's been acting up, so he would need to go in a van or a car himself. That's over $100. It's not going to happen overnight. He'll probably have to be there for a few days. Armstrong family, it took her days to get in there. So I don't know. I don't think that he wouldn't take us, but if he was going to take us anyways, it would be based on the emails. So because we're sending him on a daily basis. If it doesn't happen, it's because he's already booked or he's got other things. So it's not because of other people. So I understand Heidi staying as my first friend of Dumagetti died on the 25th. Poor Monte Crew. His lungs filled up as I always thought it was going to be his heart. That was extremely sad. We had contact with him. He mostly talked about his daughter. So when I seen how sick he was, and it was extremely sad. We had reached out with him. Yes, she had already was open. He had already discussed this. She had already found somebody before he passed away. That's why he was living somewhere else. So, oh, Benmar, haven't seen you in a while. Well, that's only you thinking racist. So, are you aware that the word chinks is a derogatory slur on Chinese people and the equivalent of the N word? So, there are many Chinese residents in the Philippines. Maybe refrain from that. Okay, so I've been spelling his name. It's Chinks, like minx with an S. And people did say that initially, and I said I'm not going to stop calling him that. And if people don't want to be called the N word and they get offended but use the word themselves, it's the same thing. You're either going to get offended or you're not. And I'm not going to not call my cat Chinks with an X. And I have said that. So if that, I'm telling you, that's not the intention. If somebody on the other side wants to hear that and get offended, it's because I've said it and then they just took it as that, then that's on them. They're offended. They're butthurt. Just like if somebody calls me a bitch and then I'm offended, but I know it means something else or not intended for me, then it doesn't apply to me. Keep punching, Heidi, and enjoy every day as no guarantees. And Benmar, some of the things you've come on have just been kind of out there, but I understand why you're saying that. But it's stinky chinks with an X, like minx, because I called him chinks minx. And I have mentioned before I didn't care if people thought that either. And if surgery goes well, so keep positive thoughts and plans. Yeah. I'm just hoping that we can get the stents, the circulation, the coverage, and I know I'm holding a lot of hope for this. That and that's another thing. Talking about Rafi Tulfo, we plan to go in the hospital in a few days. We can't wait for him, and we're not going to go sit there, have George sit there for a few days. We're going to need every dime for what we're about ready to do. What is it? Oh, that's the unit. We have an air filter that kicks on and off. That I'm getting ready to go in the hospital anyways. We're about ready to risk everything, funeral funds, every dime we have in the house, and we're going to go into a public hospital that can do it. And so down to the stents. But first, I have to wait and get the infection out of my leg, get the inflammation out of my body, get most of the fluid out so I can lay down to get the angiogram. And at that point, they'll say you need one, two, or four stents, which means we'd probably be screwed because that will cost money. They will cover, I think, one or two. After that, there would be individual money. We don't have that kind of money, even for public and or open heart surgery. Then that would mean no amount of money we had would actually help because that's going to cost for sure 30, 40,000 US. And I'm not aware that they'll cover that unless they put a cap on them and then they let it happen for the 500,000 pesos. And I don't think so. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure if I need open heart, there's another facility in Manila that we would have to go to or back to the private hospitals. So then we'd be dealing with something totally different. But that's now that I think about it, that's exactly why we hesitated because we're going into the hospital anyways. So, yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah, gotta I'm not sure the outcome, but imagine being in my shoes day to day, waiting to know, am I going to the hospital today? Am I supposed to start getting ready for the hospital? Could I die in my sleep? These are my worries, not the trolls, not that they're going to have me deported because they say that they are, or that Rafi won't do it because they say they are. It's not. Are you talking about how you're better than me and stuff? What bugs me is not knowing if I'm going to live or die based on George. I told George I'm ready to go. I really think after losing his dad and grandmother in the past year, his mother is up there in age with her own health issues. So he's liable to lose us both in a short period of time. It's not good for him. That's what I can't handle. That's the problems. Good morning, Victoria, chat and crew, windy, typhoon like Western Australia. I love your voice. I do. I've been watching a lot of Australian movies here lately, and they still ain't got your voice. It's just you have a smooth. Should be on the radio or something like Victoria Radio, WWVIC Radio Australia. Good day, good day. Hey, Cindy, what's going on? Hey, I got the end of this. Great to see you enjoying the afternoon. Girls, I lost where I was. I thought today was Monday, but it's because I'm on extra water pills because my legs have been leaking. So I woke up after midnight, 1 o'clock, and didn't pay attention. But the top of the phone will say a date, but I don't know what date it is for sure. I go by Sunday, Monday, and it said Sunday, and I was like, shit, tomorrow's a live stream. I said, we haven't discussed the topic, haven't figured anything out, and boom. And then I set the live up, and I was like, wait a minute, it's Sunday because there's a church program that comes on from Florida that we watch. And I'm like, crap, it's Sunday. So it's because they have Saturday church and stuff. So Saturday night church shows up for us. It's like, oh my. Baby May's father's not doing. I thought Baby May's, maybe it was her mother that passed. I thought her dad had already, but it's possible. Yeah, sorry, that's bad. You will need to broadcast. Of course we will, because we should have privacy to not have the nurses and them in there. So I told George, hell yeah, we are. But here's the thing. Um, it won't satisfy any of the channels. They'll find another thing, but that's not our point. We want to show you guys the best we can, the hospital, what's going on with me, the people that actually want to know what's going on. And it's they will come up with something totally different. Yeah, they will. It's hard. I can only imagine what they'll come up with after that. Mostly, they'll say I'm in there, which I'm already feeding their minds. They'll just say it was because of my bite was why I was in there, even if they see I had surgery. It's like ever what. So it's like there'll never be satisfaction because of their mentality and their retards and their own personal seeking attention and insecurities. And we've been through that. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Try to enjoy the rest of my Sunday with Stinky Chinks here. Hey, Stinky Chinks! Chinks! Psst, psst. Ooh, who woke you up? Psst, psst. Hi. Huh? Hi, Parnell. Hi, Parnell. Man, that boy's loud all day long. All right, guys, love you and wanted to say hello. And hey, pray that George gets up before noon. So, all right, guys, thanks for dropping in.